See that? See that right there? That is the IMS bearing, the infamous IMS bearing. Spoiler alert, it's in really great shape. It was a little bit challenging to get out. I'll be honest, I had to fail a few times, but it was on the whole fairly easy to build a bearing puller out of a section of 2-inch conduit and a couple of bolts laying around. So very cheap. Total, probably it costs about $25 for me to get the tools to lock the engine into place and remove this bearing. It definitely didn't cost anywhere near $250. And sure, I had to fail a few times along the route, but eventually I succeeded and I now know how to do it. So if you do it the way I did it, I don't anticipate many problems because you can go out and get the right stuff right away and just build the puller without any stumbling about. Anyway, we'll go under there and pull the bearing out. Everything is ready. It is showtime. 3 10mm bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and take those loose. Center nut is 13mm. You can break it loose with a socket probably, and then you might have to hold the center with a flat screwdriver like I'm doing, and then use an open wrench to get the nut loose. Now, we should just be able to pry the cover out carefully. Yes! Honestly, I think it's in perfect shape. There you go about this problem being overblown. Looks great. So, yeah. I feel like these sorts of things never happen to people that I watch. In my case, I tried to use a puller on the center nut to pull out the bearing, and the center nut snapped. Sucks. Maybe when I put my puller on there, it was a little bit out of square, putting pressure on it, and that snapped it. That's my theory anyway. At any rate, this center nut is completely worthless to me. So my new plan since the center nut has all the threads broken off, is to knock the center nut back into the intermediate shaft. The intermediate shaft is hollow, so it should just sit back in the intermediate shaft, and I should be able to like pull it out with a magnet without any problems. So that'll be great. And once I knock it out, I can use an internal bearing puller or build something to work. Okay. So it appears to be back there still. Should be able to get a magnet and grab it out. I've taken a pilot bearing puller and put it inside the bearing here, which was kind of hard to film. Then I'm going to put a section of 2-inch electrical conduit over that, and then screw this bolt with washers on into the pilot bearing holder. I have my new and hopefully improved tool on here. It was kind of hard to put it on and you couldn't really see what I was doing. So if this works, when I take it off, you'll be able to see the whole mechanism that I rigged up. If it doesn't work, I'll have to try one of the other options I have in mind, like swearing or crying. Crying is a good option too. But hopefully this works. Either that broke something or that was the bearing sliding. Oh, I think the bearing slid. That was a bit. So I have a little magnet here. Should be able to pull out the center stud now. There it is. Piece of cake. So here is the winning tool. I have this pilot bearing extractor. It was just what the local auto parts place had for rent or for borrowing. And basically that can slide into the bearing arbor and then screw out like that. It expands and grabs the inside and pulls it like this. This is some 2-inch conduit. So that slides right in there like that. A couple of washers, and then the bolt and nut that thread onto the tool that I borrowed. As I tightened, so it started there, actually started out more like this. And as I tightened this nut down, it pulled the whole thing out. And it succeeded. This is the infamous IMS bearing. And as you can see, in my car with 90-something thousand miles, and my car is a 2000, so it's supposed to be one that's affected by this issue, the seals are intact. So once again, this just confirms my suspicion that if a car is driven regularly, it gets regular oil changes, it's never going to have an issue. The whole IMS thing is grossly exaggerated.